You want to know one of the things that I regret most? Coming an adult, turning into a man, however you want to look at it, is that I had to start working full time eventually, as we all are gonna have to in our lives. But one of the things that I regret about this isn't, I don't know, you know, not saving enough, not investing enough, stuff like that. Now, of course, I'll definitely be doing more of that later on in life, but so many people always talk about that. Work as much as you possibly can and save and invest everything. And of course, it's good to save, it's good to invest, it's good to work, right? But it also has to be balanced out by fun and adventure, right? Even if you don't want to call it fun, that's fine. Adventure, right? We got to have more adventure, because I remember when I started working like full time, I remember just thinking to myself, like, I'm not going to go out and have any fun. I'm just going to work, and that's it, and put away everything. And what's kind of funny is that even when I did that, like, I still never really got financially ahead. Because what I noticed myself doing when that happened is that I started to get more down on myself and think that I wasn't going hard enough, and no matter how hard I went, I never thought I was going hard enough at it. So what I did is I ended up spending more money on like bad food or pops, as I'm not an alcohol drinker, but pop was, I guess, my version of alcohol, because I was just always, it was never enough for me. Everything I did was never enough, and I'd always get disappointed in myself, because no matter how much I worked, no matter how much money I made, it was never enough. And because of this disappointment, I took it out in bad ways, right? And because I never really had anything like interesting going on in my life, I guess kind of like the tasty junk food meal and the tasty bad drinks kind of got me away, or at least kind of added a little bit of interestingness to my life, if you will. And because of that, I ended up spending a lot of money on that stuff, along with other like kind of, I guess little things that didn't really need to be spent on, but I never really got ahead. It's a thing called lifestyle inflation. It's like once you make more, you end up spending more anyway. But of course, you got to have discipline, make as much as you can while spending as least as you can, but also still balancing it out with having some adventure in your life. And then once I finally just let go of all that, of like that stubborn attitude of I got to work 24/7 and I got to save every single penny, and no more fun, no more adventure, no more anything. It's just work. Right? Once I let go of that attitude, because I couldn't stand life anymore, even though I love the work the kind of work that I do, I knew that there was more to be done and explored in life, and I had to do more. So once I finally let go of that stubborn attitude, yes, of course, I still made sure to budget. I still made sure to be smart with my money, but I also allowed myself to go out and adventure a little bit, whether it be going to baseball games or whether it be taking a little bit of an extra long drive up to like a cool like hiking spot, or whether it be just like going somewhere interesting with my friends or my family. Like, I worked as I needed. I have a budget, right? I don't just spend everything that I make, but I also don't spend nothing either, right? I still allow myself to go out and adventure the world a bit. And ironically, once I started balancing work with adventure, then like the attitude and the mood just shifted a lot. It just shifted a lot. Yeah, because once I started balancing work along with just going out and adventuring, and people say work-life balance, absolutely, but it's not like just like when you're off of work, right? Because people, when they're off of work, you can sit in your bed and scroll on your phone all day and just do nothing, or you can kind of get out and adventure and stuff. So it's not life outside of work can be anything that really you want it to be. So it's not really about work-life balance. That's more just like working the amount of hours like that you need to work in order to also have like a good life outside of work. But it depends on what does your life outside of work look like. Is it you just sit on your tablet, your phone all day? Is it just you just scroll and you don't do anything, right? Or yeah, of course you have your rest breaks where you let yourself scroll or watch a YouTube video or so. Yeah, you have your rest breaks where you kind of sit on the couch and just chill for a little bit, maybe watch a movie, of course spend some time in prayer, meditation. But you also have your rest breaks where you also have your time where you get out and adventure and explore and go do different activities that you like to do and go meet some new people, stuff like that, right? Like, of course, meeting new people when you have the chance. But it's about just getting out, man. Get out and adventure a bit. And if you got to put a little bit of money into those adventures, I'm telling you, they create some of the best memories. Even sometimes some of my least expensive adventures have created some of my best memories. Even just a train ride I took, the other day to the ball game itself, it was like $10 for the train ride. And yet I absolutely loved the train ride. I loved it. I'm still thinking about it. Like to this day, like I want to go back on, and it was only $10, right? So it's like, yeah, of course, stay in line with your budget. Don't overspend. You also don't got to hold back every single penny either and think to yourself that you're not allowed to have fun because you're an adult or whatever. It's like, no, man, go out, have a good time, adventure, explore this world. You're going to look back one day and regret it if you don't. All because you've heard things like, oh, work 24/7 or no time for fun or fun is weak or adventure is weak. It's like, no, man, us men thrive on adventure, I mean, even back in the very, first of days, right? There wasn't, like fun things like, I don't know, going to a carnival or going to, a sports game or something, but there were like adventure, like exploring, hiking mountains, traveling across the plains, traveling across the desert, the Arctic. Like the adventure is what it comes down to. Adventure is crucial for us men in our lives. And if we don't have it, if we don't allow ourselves to adventure and we don't allow ourselves to have some adventure in our lives, we kind of wonder, we usually end up realizing we're missing a piece of our life, but we don't really know what. We're working, right? We're working hard. We're going after our goals and dreams. Hey, we're working out. We're staying in touch with God. We're bettering ourselves, absolutely, and that stuff is great. But a lot of those people that think that, bettering yourself comes down to working 24/7, realize that a lot of them aren't really that happy either. Like overall in life, I'm like there's always angry or miserable or not very happy. But the people that allow themselves to adventure and explore and just, go out and explore the world while also improving themselves and doing the work that they need to, doing the workouts they need to, putting aside the money they need to, yeah, but also allowing themselves to get out and adventure the world. Those are the ones that usually end up being the ones that win in the end with their own selves and their own lives. So if you're ever wondering, like, oh, what piece of my life is missing? What do I need more of in this life? I need something more, but I don't know what. It's probably adventure. And it doesn't mean you have to travel all the way across the world. It could just mean you travel 15 minutes down the street and take a cool little hike. It could mean you drive 30 minutes away and go to a ball game for a cheap price. It could mean that you go to the mall with some of your buddies. It could mean whatever, whatever it may be. But I'm telling you, adventure is crucial for us men in our lives. Very, very crucial, much needed. And I at the point in my life where I didn't allow myself to have any, I always knew I was missing something, and I was never really 100% satisfied with life. As much as I was working and going after what I needed to go after, I also needed to add in that adventure and kind of balance things out. There might be seasons of your life where you have to work a lot more, maybe for a couple weeks or a couple months, maybe even like a year or two. But the overall picture is, balance. Even you might have to have those seasons where you work extra long or extra hours. Just like you might have those seasons where you don't need to work as much, but the overall key is balance. Not just work with life, but, life with adventure. Life with doing the tasks that you need to, responsibility with adventure. Work with life, responsibility with adventure, whatever it may be. But get out, adventure, explore the world a little bit, even if it's for a very inexpensive price and like right down the street from your home. Doesn't matter how far, how close, how expensive, how cheap. Doesn't matter. Get out, explore the world a little bit, put aside some time for that stuff. And I'm telling you, it makes a really big difference. But that being said, that's my little talk, my little speech. So let's go to the gym and hit up some weightlifting. yet again. Another great lifting session. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but working out always makes me feel better in some way, shape, or form. Just about, even if I'm having like a good day, right? I work out and I feel gooder. I feel better. Or if I'm having a bad day or a rough day, I work out and it's almost like it kind of, I don't know, regulates all the thoughts that are going on inside my head. It's almost like it kind of, brings a balance between the positive and negative. So that way I'm able to, think more clearly and see like, oh yeah, the negative is kind of BS, whereas the positive is actually, mostly the truth. And even the negative stuff in my life that is the BS, right? Like, or at least the negative stuff that I'm kind of bringing about because of my own thoughts, even if some of that negative stuff is true, I come to realize that it's like, God always turns it into a positive, man. Even if it's a negative for a long time, he still turns it into a positive. And that's where it's like, yeah, so I don't know what it is about working out. Any kind of workout, it just brings me back. Because I was having just a lot of like hard thought. Like I've been having a lot of trouble lately with like thinking about my future, and then my car's pretty much busted, and I've been having a lot of intrusive thoughts, a lot of anxiety thoughts, and it's like working out, it kind of brought the anxiety down, brought the reality back up, that even if things do get really rough for a while, which they kind of have, but even if things continue to get rougher or stay rough for a little while, it's like God always turns things around when his timing is right. It kind of helps me to think more clearly when I do the workout, or after I'm done with the workout. I feel like I'm able to think more clearly rather than just having the negative thoughts intrude and I'm kind of like sitting there engaging with them stupidly. I don't know. The bottom line is that, working out is good either way. Whether you're in your good mood or a bad mood, having a good day or a bad day, the bottom line is the truth of it all is that working out is good for you physically and mentally. And I think that's a big part that a lot of people don't talk about, is how good working out is for your mental health too. Of course it's good for your physical health. You build muscle, you look better. When you look better, you feel better. On top of that, you're putting in hard work, you're going after goals. And it's like some of the most, masculine characteristics out there that us men need. And that's why I think it does so good on our mental health, because when we're taking care of ourselves physically, of course it's going to help us to feel better mentally. We look better, we feel better physically, so we end up just feeling better mentally. It kind of like works together, but at the same time, it's also the fact of going after goals. It's also the fact of not wasting time away in your life. Like, instead of spending an hour scrolling on your phone where you get absolutely nothing out of that, you spend an hour working out. You're taking care of yourself. You're going after certain goals, right? Which is just what us men need. And it's like, just the thought of after you finish it, how you feel so accomplished after finishing a workout, because you've done something really good for yourself. You feel so accomplished, and that feeling of accomplishment, man, like kind of lets you know that you're doing something really good with your life, and that just makes you feel good in general. And on top of that, again, you're taking care of your body, taking care of your health, accomplishing things, doing things that are genuinely good for you that us men need to do. All these things at the end of the day are going to have a positive impact on our mental health. So working out is good, yeah, for your physical health and your mental health. It really, really is, man. And especially when you kind of find the right routine, because the right routine isn't what this guy says or this guy says. It's the one that fits into your schedule. It's the one that you can do consistently for years without giving up or quitting on. It's the one that gets you to your goals, your fitness goals, while also being maintainable, meaning that you even if you have a busy schedule, like, you're still able to stick with it. It's just the routine that gets you to your goals and fits your schedule the absolute best, to where you can stay as consistent as humanly possible. And just that right there, hey, my workout might not be perfect for you. This guy's workout might not be perfect for me. Whatever. Of course, it's cool to watch each other and learn from each other, because there are also things that I've learned from a lot of, different bodybuilders and different fitness influencers that have stuck with me really well. And has definitely helped me. There's a lot of things I learned from my dad, especially. He's been like the main guy in all this that has helped me to get into fitness. And then also some guys some like trainers that I've learned at my old gym. There's been a lot of things I've learned from a lot of people that have stuck with me. But then there's also been things where I've learned that never really stuck with me, and that, I've tried out and it never really worked for me, So it's we can learn from each other, but also, over time, we kind of learn our own best routine and make our own best routine, and we're going to look at some other people's routines and think, how the heck, even this one bodybuilder, Aziz, right? ZYZZ is what they call him, Ziz, or Z's, however you say. I look at his workout plan and I think to myself, like, You know, if I ever did that workout plan, I feel like I would lose progress, you know. It built him some of the best progress of his life. So you know what? It's like, I can sit here and look at it and kind of prejudge a routine, or I can try it out, see if it fits my routine, see if it gets me to my goals. If it doesn't, all right, we change up the plan. But if it fits my own schedule and it's going to get me to my goals, then heck yeah, man, it's a good routine, you know? So there is no one size fits all for fitness. It's whatever routine gets you to your fitness goals, whether it be losing weight, building muscle, you know, getting more lean or getting more bulkier, whatever it may be. It's whatever routine gets you to your goals while also fitting your routine the best possible. And the best possible is it fits your routine so well to where the only reason that you skip is if you're being lazy. That's it. The only reason that you skip is if you're being lazy, or if some really extreme inconvenience happens. You know, I mean, I don't even have a car and I still got to the gym today. Of course, thankfully I had someone I know drive me. He was going to go do a workout too. So we're like, let's just go do this together, man. Even though we also did our own separate thing too. But the point is that this is probably the biggest inconvenience for me, is not having a car to actually get to the place where I work out. But yet, you know, I'm still doing it at least as much as I can without a car. You know, it hasn't been perfect, but I've still been able to, you know, get there and stuff. I should have a car pretty soon, I pray to God, because you know what, I need one. But anyway, you know, the bottom line is that, hey, you know, you gotta have the routine that fits your schedule so well to where the only excuse is either that you're lazy or that the greatest inconvenience of your life happened to where you literally cannot do a workout that day. And if you have a routine that fits your schedule that well, then you'll be there all the time, and consistency is what's going to build the best progress over time. Because you can have a guy that does a 1 workout this week, 3 workouts the next week, 4 the week after, 0 the week after, right? He's just all over the place. And then you have a guy who has like a not so crazy routine. It's just a very simple, basic routine, yet he does it consistently. The consistent guy is going to build, even though his routine is very simple, basic, and not crazy or anything. It's just very simple and basic. He's going to build more muscle than the guy who's all over the place and doesn't even know if he's going to go to the gym the next day or not. It's the consistency that matters, man. Trust me, you probably heard it. You're probably looking for the shortcut, but there is none. The biggest shortcut out there is consistency. Just enjoying the process, and before you know it, you know, the results will be there. But if you can't enjoy the process, it's going to be really rough. Anyway, I could go on about this for hours, so I'll cut it off before I go on too much. That's the workout for today. That being said, I'm going to go eat, and then I will see you in a little bit for the Bible reading. Well, you'll see me in about 2 seconds, but I'll see you in a little bit. All right, well, since I got out a bit later than I wanted to, I got something good for you instead of like our regular Bible reading, and that is from John 8. To kind of sum it up, people had brought this woman who had committed adultery to Jesus, right? Saying like, basically, hey, you know, she committed adultery, she sinned, like, you know, she broke the law, you know, we got to throw some stones at her because of this, right? We got to pelt her with stones. I guess that was like their form of punishment, whatever. And Jesus said, okay, fine. He said, let you, who is without sin, throw the first stone. And everyone got up and walked away. And Jesus asked the woman, he said, hey, you know, is there anyone left here to throw some stones at you? And she said, no, there's not. And Jesus said, neither do I condemn you. Now go. Basically saying, right, he basically humbled everyone right there. And I thought this was pretty cool. I heard this like the other day. I might not have every exact piece of the story down completely, but the bottom line is that these people wanted to punish this woman for committing adultery. She sinned, she made a mistake, whatever. And yeah, by no means is this some like little mistake like lying. I mean, it's you know, committing adultery is a pretty big one. But regardless of the size of it, even Jesus, right? Even Jesus himself said, fine, anyone who has no sin can throw a stone at her. And everyone walked away because everyone knew deep down inside that they had sinned in some way, shape, or form. And especially with the Lord standing right in front of them, who's going to dare lie, right? Everyone got up and walked away, and boom. Jesus then said, hey, neither do I condemn you. Basically saying, like, go and be free. Like, you're not getting this punishment, you know? These people didn't get the punishment for their sins. You're not getting one for your sins. And it kind of, in a sense, just saying, hey, you know, because of me, you're free to go. You know, and the bottom line here, man, is that we can sit here and pick on each other all day long for our sins. People can sit here and call me out all day long. I can call people out all day long. I can sit here and bash on people. I can find a bunch of people online that are like, oh, they're sinning. I can sit here and pick on everyone all day long. Heck, I can go around and find something wrong with everyone if I wanted to. But I can also find something wrong with myself. That's number one. If I could find something wrong with anyone, it's going to be myself first and foremost. And the thing here is that I feel like in today's world, whatever, maybe it's probably happened a lot back then too. But us, us men, heck, even like women and stuff, but, us who believe in God, we sit here and we preach, love everyone, respect everyone. Hey, no one's perfect. But then we'll be the same ones to go around and bash other people because they're not perfect. We'll be the same ones to say, oh, you're not a real believer. You just act like you are. You look at you over there. You think you're so perfect. You think you're all that great. No. And we just sit here, and it's one thing to call each other out, like out of love, being like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that, or maybe we shouldn't be saying that. There's been some times where my dad's called me out. There's been some times where I've called some people out. There's been some times where people have called me out, whatever. But when we call each other out, it's out of love, or it's out of just, I gotcha, like an I gotcha thing. And I feel like so many of us, are just looking for the right I gotcha moment. And maybe it's to make us feel better about ourselves. I know that, a lot of the times when we bash people, it's just to make us feel better about ourselves, especially when we know that we're not in a great place in life. I'll be the first to admit that I've done this, man. And of course, yeah, look, obviously I'm not proud of doing it, but I have done it. Bash other people, and deep down inside, I'm doing it not because I hate that other person, or because, I do it because I wasn't proud from where I was at in life. Instead of focusing on better myself, I'm going to focus on picking on other people to make myself feel, no, that's wrong, bro. That's wrong. We don't need to go around and attack each other for every little imperfection, every little mistake, every little sin, man, because none of us are without sin. All of us are just, mistake makers. We're makers of mistakes. All of us, we screw up, man. All of us. No one. So why go around and attack each other? Especially, and the ones that are out there preaching love, love, but then they're also the same ones to attack people right away. It's like, it doesn't work out. Trust me, I've been there, done that. Preaching love, and behind the scenes, I'm picking on everyone because I'm not proud of where I was at in life. Doesn't matter the reason. What matters is that I was doing it, and definitely just not the right kind of way to go about your life, man. It's just going to bring you nothing but misery, I'm telling you. Picking on everyone to make you feel better about yourself, because now you're not even able to focus on yourself because you're too busy focused on picking on other people. And because you're not able to focus on yourself, you're slowly but surely going downhill. Whereas if you just focus on bettering yourself in your life, whatever, you'd be going uphill. And don't worry about picking on other people. Hey, man, we're here to give each other a hand. We're here to lift each other up. We're like us men, bro. We were made to motivate each other. Like us brothers, we were made to motivate each other. Like that's why I think that's why I got so obsessed with, self-improvement and fitness and motivation, because that's what us men are made for, bro. And I think that's why a lot of men who get into this kind of, niche, if you will, like we become obsessed with it because it's who we are, bro. It's who we're meant to be. And we find out we're meant to be this way, and we never knew it all along. And no wonder we're obsessed, and we don't want to ever go back to the other way, because we're meant to lift each other up and to motivate each other. Yeah, of course, us guys who care about each other, us brothers who love each other, right? Like, of course we're going to call each other out of love, out of care. Of course, we're going to call each other out. We're going to kind of pick on each other, like, hey, that's a stupid thing to do or a stupid thing to say. It's like, but again, it's one thing to call someone out of love, and it's another thing just to do it, just to be like, I got you, I'm better than you type of thing. No, man, we cannot go about living our lives. Trust me, I've been there, done that. It brings you nothing but misery. It does not, even though it might help you feel better about yourself in the moment, okay, at the end of the day, all it does is bring you misery. No, man. None of us are without sin. None of us are perfect. So let's go around and motivate, and inspire, and help each other the best that we can, if anything. And if anything, that'll just do good for our own selves too. Being the one to spread the love, the motivation, the inspiration, rather than the hate and the picking on and whatever. Anyway, that's kind of my little another speech for today. So this has been 1,000 Days Better, and let's go become the great men we were born to be. God made us to be, and I will see you tomorrow to continue becoming better. Peace.